Panago Pizza presents STP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
Guys, Steve is tired.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
Steve
You brought it up.
is trade deadlined out, you guys.
It has nothing to do with the trade deadline.
Steve was working the phones so hard for 15 hours on Sportsnet yesterday. And
Me,
also
Armstrong,
Ryan Lindsay.
Arm Dog, Mallard. We were tired.
Dougie?
Yeah. Marzy. I'm trying to give Merrick a nickname. Marzy?
yeah.
That's a very... I feel like that'd be a hockey nickname for him.
For sure.
Jeffy?
Jeffy? No, Jeffy's his wife, I think. That you can't... Jeffy is not something that two dudes say to each other, I don't think.
It might be, though. Might be.
It's hockey.
Yeah.
Anything's possible.
You're right. I mean, you're right. There's a lot of butt tapping in hockey,
is
too.
for everyone.
That's
We're off
true.
to a really good start. I have a lot of faith in this show. This is going to be a good podcast.
So run us through your last 10 hours.
Oh, for crying out loud. Look, I went to bed late because I uploaded the LFR video last night because I knew we were going to record this morning, and then I got here this morning. So I got about 3 hours in. Feel good about it.
You know who he did that for? You.
The people.
You,
I'm
the
a man
listener.
of the people.
You, the viewer, and you, the listener. Steve is a content machine.
Just content and content.
Just vomiting content and rainbows out of his mouth.
Blah. But there's hockey to talk about.
There
so I'm
is. And
happy
you know what?
about
I just want to say congratulations.
That was so bad.
Because there are buying winners and there are selling winners. Congratulations to the yesterday's buying winners, the Winnipeg Jets.
that. You think so?
The Winnipeg Jets are the buying winners of yesterday.
Why is that?
Because Winnipeg, I mean, listen, nothing against Tampa. They made some great moves. Like, let's just get that off the table before the Lightning fan get upset. But Lightning fan, we know. Like, we know. Winnipeg, city of what, 600, 700,000 people. Mike Hoffman doesn't want to waive his no-trade clause. He'd rather play for Eugene and Ottawa than go to Winnipeg.
You know who looks pretty dumb today?
Mike Hoffman. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, well,
Have fun.
enjoy your early summer.
Yeah, he just wants to go
guess.
golfing, I guess.
Have fun. Cool. But what else am I to deduce?
Paul Stastny waived his no-trade clause to go. He left a playoff team,
I shouldn't say that. There might be family circumstances, whatever, but you're right.
and that, I think, is a big deal. Paul Stastny is a big deal centerman in this league.
What's up with St. Louis?
He wasn't supposed to get traded, and somehow...
He was a sleeper, I heard.
Okay, but
Yeah.
St. Louis is, again, a team that could make the playoffs that's selling at the deadline again. I don't know what's happening over there.
What's up with that?
But, I mean,
do
it's
they
good-
have like money problems?
No,
Or
I think it's just
are
they don't believe in their team. They've gone on a really terrible run lately.
Yeah, they've also been losing a lot. So
That's
I think
true.
they're
like a
not
bunch
very
of
confident.
losers.
It's that time of year where certain storylines can get swept under the rug. And you know how I found out about St. Louis's losing streak? Our Reddit page.
So
I was like, what?
They currently sit outside of the playoffs, 1 point back of Los Angeles for the second wild card, but they are on a 4-game losing streak, 3-6-1 in their last 10. So
Geez, maybe they should have sold more.
And they used to be one of the top teams in their division. Like
Crazy.
as early as a month ago. Like it wasn't that long ago. So it's interesting that they've fallen off a cliff here and they're already going, okay, fine. Well, I mean, to me, it's good asset management, good on Doug Armstrong because you got a couple conditional picks out of it. But I think it's a big win for the Jets because
Absolutely.
Kevin Chevel always takes the trade deadline day off.
Oh my God. No,
Actually,
I'll give it to you.
He made a move. He did something.
Here, I gotta
And
put on my
he made that
busted
strong
glasses.
team already stronger. So you got Paul Stastny going to the Jets. The Blues get a conditional first, a conditional fourth in 2020, and Eric Foley.
I would like to know the conditions on all that. Now, if I'm not mistaken, isn't Foley a good prospect? There were a couple good prospects traded yesterday. I'm trying to remember who they all are.
But I don't think there were... It's interesting because there were a lot of first rounders dealt. There was not you didn't see like a marquee prospect. You didn't see like a Sergachev moved. Like Sergachev pre this season. Like an A+, you know he's going to be a good prospect.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I was surprised Sergachev didn't get moved yesterday.
I was too. So anyway,
In that giant deal.
I think of the buyers, I think this is a huge hurdle for the Winnipeg Jets to jump because most of the time they've just had to develop within. They can't chase anybody in free agency. They can't compete on that same level.
Well, and for a
and
team-
here they are.
And for a team who you would suspect would have to overpay, at the deadline, I don't know. You look at what some other teams did. I don't think they overpaid, at least in comparison to the other buyers. So I was getting chirped by Cia on Twitter. So your thing is everyone is literally the nicest.
Yes.
Mine is such and such team probably has the best forward depth in the league. Because I've said that of several teams now. I've said that about, I put the least forward depth up against anybody, and Tampa's forward depth I put up against anybody. But who can beat Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins, really? Let me do, like, what do I get? 5 teams?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Leafs, I will put in there. Tampa, you have to put in there. Mm-hmm. Penguins, I'll still put in there. With this trade, I think even before this trade, how do you not put the Jets? They gotta be. They gotta be. And then, I don't know. Screw it, I'll only do 4. I'm too tired.
What about Boston?
I don't know if they're that. They got a killer couple 1-2 lines, but like
they're a great team, but like I just don't think their depth is that. After the deadline, yeah, I haven't seen the roster yet. Maybe you're right, and also I think Krejci's been out. Jesse might be right.
When Krejci's back, yikes.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Also,
yeah,
you showed a lot of love to the West.
Yeah,
yeah,
the Jets.
Yeah, but you threw that in because we were talking about them. Do you think you have an East bias?
Maybe. Or maybe the East is better now.
Yeah, the East is better, for sure.
Also, we're not saying the best teams. I'm just saying forward depth.
Are 4 of the...
no one's looking at the Leafs and going, deepest team in the league, because you look at the defense and you go, heavens. Hey, Polak had a giveaway yesterday.
Hey, let's not go to the Leaf game yet, please.
No,
Thank you.
I just thought I'd throw that in.
I wanted to shout out the Winnipeg Jets. I thought it was a big deal that they made a big deal.
So you wanted to shout out the Winnipeg Jets. All right. The winner of the day?
I mean, I think winner of the day has to go to Tampa. I mean, if we're talking about winner of the day, I give the Jets the Selke. I give the MVP to the Lightning.
I see.
JT Miller and Ryan McDonagh. I know they gave up a lot. I know, and Vlad Namestnikov, and I get that. But think about how scary that team looks when those two guys arrive. They really don't have a weakness.
Jesse, who won the trade deadline?
I was thinking about that, and I was gonna go with the Rangers.
Damn it. I was hoping you'd take someone else. That's my answer.
Hold on. But that's different circumstances. I think you have to have buying winners and selling winners. You can't compare the two. I think they're apples and oranges, right? Yeah. So the Rangers won the sell-off, for sure.
I don't think you have to separate it at all. Who won the day? They won the day. What do you mean?
Oh, come on, man. Yeah, you do.
The buying winner...
It's totally different.
The buying answer is the team who wins the Stanley Cup. In lieu of that,
yeah, it's true.
We have,
based on what the Rangers walked away, though, they'll probably be good next year again. Like, it's unbelievable.
Well, yeah, no, I tweeted something like last week. The Rangers were like, "All right, we're rebuilding," and this afternoon they're like, "All right, that was fun, thanks." That's unbelievable what they did.
I was impressed. I was really impressed.
Extremely impressed.
And what's amazing is reading some of the newspapers out of New York this morning, they're not convinced, eh? There's a lot of writers who are like, this is a very risky rebuild.
Yeah, you're wrong, guys.
Like, you'd be risky to hang on to these guys.
No, yeah, you're wrong. You're totally wrong.
So let's get into that Ryan McDonagh deal. Okay, so that, by the way, which was a huge, huge deal on both sides. So you get Ryan McDonagh, JT Miller. The other way, New York gets a first-round pick in 2018, a conditional second next year, Vlad Namestnikov, Lieber Hajek, and Brett Howden. Now, what do we know about those two prospects?
Brett Howden is a first-round pick, and the Lieber guy is a second-round pick. And I'll be honest and just say that's all I know about.
So you got a first, a second, a first, and a second, basically.
The Lightning are absolutely 100% going for it. They totally unloaded the whole cupboard. I get it. There's a couple teams that severely overpaid yesterday, and I'll defend the both of them for their in their logic in doing it. The other one's the Golden Knights, but we'll get to them. Tampa didn't just unload their picks; they unloaded picks they already made. So they're completely going for it. First round picks, second round picks, but for a team like the Rangers, getting guys who are already like, what would those guys be, 20? Or like by the time next season starts, they'd be about 20?
Yeah.
So that kind of speeds up your rebuild a little bit, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. You know, these guys might be ready a little sooner than you anticipated. So I think that's good for them. I'm just looking at NHLTradeTracker.com and everything the Rangers have done this month. It's a completely different team.
Run through it.
Okay, so February 9th, they made a trade with Washington. Rangers got Hubert Labrie, who may or may not be made up. John Albert, made up. Capitals get Adam Chappell and Joe Whitney, made up. So I wasted time pretty much saying that trade. The first real deadline move, Rangers get rid of Nick Holden. In return, they get Rob O'Gara and a third-round pick. They trade Michael Grabner to the Devils. They get Yegor Rykov for and also a 2018 second-round pick. So they get a prospect and a pick. In the Rick Nash deal.
That was, the Rick Nash deal is pretty unbelievable.
That's ballsy. If it pays off for the Bruins, I'll be the first one to be like, congratulations, but I don't know, man. Ryan Spooner, Matt Bolesky, who is overpaid, but will, probably be a Ranger. Ryan Lindgren, a 2018 first and a 2019 seventh. Ryan Graves for Chris Biggrass. That's just, trading of two prospects. Biggrass used to be a second-round pick, though.
What's interesting about that one is the fact that somebody, I forget who was tweeting it yesterday, but it was somebody's tweeted, who's got more points 5-on-5 in the last 3 years than Rick Nash? Thomas Plekanec. Thomas Plekanec. And they're like, and you know who's got more 5-on-4 points? Thomas Plekanec. Yep. And apparently he's got more ice time
all
too.
Situations. Yeah, crazy.
But then you go back 3 years ago and he scored 42.
Yes.
So,
but again, I feel like it was a reputation trade. I think that hauls a little on reputation.
A little bit.
Now, he could prove me wrong in the playoffs and be amazing, but he's got 15 career playoff goals in 77 games.
You know, that's one of those things. Like, it's unfair. You look at his regular season body of work is so much larger than his playoff body of work.
Yes.
But I don't see anyone calling Joel Ward a regular season bum. When the playoffs come around, he scores freaking goals. That's what teams pay him to do. And right now, the Bruins got Rick Nash to help him win a Stanley Cup. Can he help them do that? We'll see.
When the Bruins are lifting the Stanley Cup above their heads in June, they'll be tweeting us these clips.
Great. I mean, it was a question.
Yeah.
I have to ask the question, Stan. So the Tampa trade for New York in particular, I thought was brilliant because they did something that I feel like a lot more rebuilding teams should do. So they get Vlad Nemestikov, Lieber Hajek, however you say his name, I know I butchered it, Brett Howden, 2018 first-round pick, a 2019 conditional second. So if Tampa wins the Cup this year or next, that second turns into a first. Pretty nice. Well, and I mean, if they win the Cup, though,
that's the point.
31st pick. Yeah, and it's also the point.
Yeah, that would be usually that used to be a second-round pick.
What do you mean? Oh, a 31st overall pick. Yeah, I know. Yeah, the Leafs, I think, got Yegor Korshkov a couple years ago at 31st, and that was a second-round pick at the time. But now if we say first-round pick, Yegor Korshkov or Igor Korshkov.
I was surprised to see his name, by the way, come up on boards like he's a prospect that they might deal. Or that he's a prospect that people are interested in. Because I haven't heard anything about him.
That's just a name you throw out there.
Oh, it's just a guy.
I'm trying to think if there was
Here's a warm body. He's got eyebrows and hair.
There was a Leafs draft pick who he was doing well in Russia, so he was on HF boards like every single draft scenario with the Leafs. Dmitry Vorobiev? Was that his name? I don't know. It doesn't matter. So they get rid of Ryan McDonagh and JT Miller. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't both guys have a year left on their deal?
I believe so.
Dude, like more teams should be honest with themselves and do that. The Rangers knew they were heading for a rebuild. Get what you can get now. If all you get is picks, great. The picks will be a year older, right? You want to be better sooner or later? The Rangers decided sooner. And I think with what they've done in the last couple of weeks, they're going to be better sooner than later. There's the big old Lundqvist elephant in the room, but
yeah, because they're not trading him. Which do you think if
not often?
Let's say they're bad next year. I don't think they will be.
No,
there's still some talent on that team, but let's say they're bad next year,
or maybe.
Do you think that Henrik Lundqvist maybe changes his mind and goes, I'm like few thousand years older than the rest of this team.
I don't think you can. Because it's $8.5 million until 2021.
You'd have to retain.
Yeah.
He's got 4 years to change his mind.
Yeah.
Well, I guess 3 years. Yeah, you're right.
It'd be pretty hard. You're right. It'd be impossible to deal that.
It's like the Bobby Ryan deal.
So they have a crazy amount of RFAs who they're going to have to pay. Brady Shea is going to get a lot of money. Ryan Spooner, they're going to have to pay. Kevin Hayes, they're going to have to play. Vlad Nemestikov is going to be a very interesting one. He's an RFA with arbitration rights. But they're going to have some space, I think, with all the guys that they offloaded. They got all these picks so they can go young. But you know what the underrated rumor was with the the Rangers, heading into yesterday, was Ilya Kovalchuk's potential NHL comeback and the fact that he might want to join the Rangers. Interesting. I mean, it's old and busted up Ilya Kovalchuk, but it's still Ilya Kovalchuk. I don't think
If I'm Ilya Kovalchuk and John Tavares is playing with the Islanders, that's where I'm going. If I want to be in New York,
nah.
You don't want to play with John Tavares?
Manhattan. A little different. You know? No, I mean...
Thank you, Jesse.
He wants to... I think he wants to win, but he also wants to make money. I don't know. He's another guy who's got a lot of time to make up his mind, but what I saw... I'm trying to remember who tweeted it, but... all the Ilya Kovalchuk rumors a year or two ago, he was tied down to New Jersey. They still held his rights and they were thinking about trading it. Now they don't have to do that. He's just a UFA. I just realized I was wearing my glasses with the straw.
New Jersey should New Jersey should have traded those rights. Should have just taken whatever they could have got for him.
I never understood that.
That was an option?
Yeah, last summer.
I had no idea.
He wanted back in last year.
I remember we talked about
it. And then Jersey was like apparently the asking price was like through the roof.
Yeah,
and it's like,
we want a first-round pick. Okay, well, no. So
so just take what you can get, and that's
get a seventh for crying out loud.
Just get something.
Now they have nothing,
and that brings
hold on to your pride.
That brings me to the.
How many goals has your pride scored?
Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned the Detroit Red Wings for a couple reasons. I know that they made a trade with the Vegas Golden Knights, and they Thomas Tatar for a first, a second next year, and a third in 2021.
You mean they robbed the Vegas Golden Knights?
I think so. It sort of seems like they may have robbed the Vegas Golden Knights.
Well,
for a year and a half of Thomas Tatar.
Isn't it more? I think it might be a full 2 years, but that is a lot. That is a lot. You know what Detroit did was they took advantage of a perfect scenario. Go ahead and look at...
Oh, wow. He signed till 2021. They got him for a while.
Yeah, they got him for a while. Look at Vegas's pick situation. It's a little... Yeah, you just brought it up. It's a little sparse, this upcoming draft.
Yeah.
They got their no first...
second,
no third.
Pittsburgh and Vancouver's fourth. Their own and Carolina's fifth, the Leafs sixth, and their sixth, and no seventh.
It's crazy that an expansion team doesn't have their first round draft pick in their first year.
I know. But then look at next year. They got their own first. Two seconds.
3/3.
The next year, their own
make
first.
It 4/4.
3 seconds. Yeah, I know.
They should aim to make it 4/4.
And last year they drafted 3 guys in the first round. I think another 2 in the second round. And think of what Vegas paid to get these picks. They robbed the Islanders blind just to take on the Grabowski deal. They robbed the Blue Jackets blind just to take on the Clarkson deal and took William Karlsson. They got picks for like Alexei Yamelin. They got picks for Trevor Van Riemsdyk. They got picks for all these guys that they just like took for free and dealt.
For free.
For free.
Yeah.
So Detroit clearly wins this deal, but just because they clearly won and clearly fleeced Vegas doesn't mean that they fleeced Vegas at all. At all. These draft picks mean less to Vegas. They just do.
What I think is kind of cool about it, too, is you've got James Neal coming up, and then you've got Marc-Andre Fleury coming up in after 2019. And what's neat about that is, the Vegas Golden Knights in their very first year went out and were buyers at the trade deadline. And it goes to show guys like that who you may want to keep around. I mean, James Neal's 30. I'm not sure if you want to sign him to a 6-year deal at that point. That's up to them. But He's always scored. James Neal is a lock for 20 goals every year.
Consistent, yeah. At least 20, yeah.
And it shows these guys that, hey, congratulations, you did a great job. And by the way, we're serious about this. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really cool. Like, I mean, it's obviously next year's going to be very interesting for the Vegas Golden Knights because a lot of these guys are going to be gone. I don't know that they're going to go and re-sign every single one of them. But a lot of the younger guys are still going to be here, and it's going to be important to know that the management and the ownership is behind them actually coming in and winning. So they're not wasting their years here. And I think that's cool.
And from the Detroit end of things, wow, I didn't realize how many picks they'd actually accumulated. So in the Riley Sheahan deal with Pittsburgh earlier in the year, Detroit got rid of a fifth, but they acquired a third. And then when they got rid of Scott Wilson, who they got in that deal, they got a fifth for him. In the Mrazek deal, they got a fourth and a third. And then in Tatar, first, second, and third. By the way, that's got to be the first 2021 draft pick ever traded. Has to be, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't believe we're already getting into the 2020s. I mean, Pittsburgh dealt their 2020 second with Fleury, but...
I kind of like that they're doing it just because it happens in junior all the time, and there's no reason why you can't. Like, why wouldn't you?
Like,
it's an asset.
That's interesting. Like, you can almost picture the conversation between McPhee and who's in Detroit, Ken Holland. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, we want 3 picks. Whoa, that's nuts. Hey, how about 1 3 years down the line? So the one thing as like a Leafs fan that made me feel good about Detroit's deadline is, yeah, they accumulated all these picks, but like they're not going to be good for a while.
Mm-hmm. They got picks, not prospects.
Yeah, if they draft well. So first they have to draft well.
And then they have to develop well.
And then they got to develop them.
Well, and then that brings us to Mike Green.
How weren't you able to get anything done?
Well, according to a tweet from LeBron, he has an injury and that scared some teams off. But then your asking price is too high.
Well, and his no trade list.
Oh, it's 2
which
teams.
Apparently he didn't want to come to Toronto.
Well, and it was funny. Did you see Lou Lamoriello's press conference?
Yeah, we're not interested. Ice.
Well, I don't know that they were. I don't know if that means they were or they're pissed off at him or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if that was do you think? I don't think that was a vindictive comment. I don't think Lou needs to make that.
No, but let's pretend it was for a sec. The subtext is, Michael, give your head a shake.
Yeah.
Look at us. Look at the position you play and look at our need. Look at us without you. We're fine. Come win a cup, idiot. And he didn't feel like it.
Do you think they were actually interested?
Meh.
I don't
think he provides.
Yeah, I don't think
he is exactly the. Like, I think I've said this before. I don't think he's exactly the type of defenseman that they need. Yeah, he's a right-handed defenseman. And the Leafs are short on that. But they want a penalty killer. Mm-hmm. And Roman Polak is an elite penalty killer. You heard Babcock say it.
Yeah, because if we had Mike Green tomorrow or tonight, I don't think he makes the lineup. I don't think Babcock would put him in. So I don't.
I think he makes. He's at least because you've got Hainsey, Zaitsev. I could see Hainsey, Zaitsev, Green on the right side.
I think Babcock
over Carrick and Polak
would play Polak.
You think he likes Polak that much?
Over Mike Green?
This is a good question.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
So I don't know why you lose an asset
good
to
point.
go get a guy who your coach probably doesn't like that much.
Interesting.
Well, I think that's probably why they didn't go after him too. He probably was like, "I'm not going to play him." Like, there's no, really and truly. I think you're right, Jesse.
You know how many analytics guys right now are screaming Zaitsev?
Yeah. I think Zaitsev's still hurt. I think he's playing
he's
hurt.
a penalty killer too.
Yeah, well, for sure. And I think the point though is that I think Jesse makes a good point. Mike Green in Toronto means that Roman Polak's not playing the penalty kill, which means it's just Hainsey and Zaitsev
until their limbs fall off.
Yeah, so I think you're right.
Kapanen, just put him out there. Put him on D.
Put Dom Moore on defense.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I don't like that.
No,
I don't like that idea. I don't like him.
So. Yeah, I found it very interesting. It's like kind of like whatever Washington or Tampa offered them. You have to think Washington offered something. Just take it.
So the other
what is the deal with that? Why do teams are like, no, that's our price, and we're going to lose them in the offseason? I would rather get nothing than have somebody not pay my price.
Again, how many goals has your pride ever scored?
Exactly. The Leafs did that. Was it with Grabner or Parenteau? Was it Parenteau that was injured a couple deadlines ago?
I think they might not have had that much interest in Parenteau.
One of the two was injured. I think it was Grabner was injured. They couldn't find a seat for him. Parenteau had 20 goals. You telling me you couldn't get a 7th for a guy that had 20 goals?
Now, devil's advocate. So Doug McLean told a story where he got a call from Brian Burke one trade deadline with 10 minutes left. And he goes, what do you want for Jeff Sanderson? And Doug McLean goes, 3rd round pick. Burke goes, done. And McLean was so happy to unload $800,000 because his owner, I guess, was
cheap.
Wanted to save some money. But then, I mean, isn't the book out on you? Just wait him out, make him sweat, and then, okay, now I get to fleece you.
Yep.
Is that how it goes? I guess, I don't know, what is it? Cutting off your nose to spite your face? What's the saying? You would know, Adam. You're an ant.
I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's the right saying for this particular situation.
Well, how do you use it then?
In a different context than this.
My brain is operating on safe mode
if an organization,
right now, so I don't know.
If an organization is cutting back on employees, at a certain point, you're cutting fat, and then you're cutting into meat and bone, as they say.
Whoa.
And if you're cutting into meat and bone, you are cutting off your nose despite your face, because you want your face to be intact, but if you keep cutting and cutting and cutting, eventually you're going to have to cut your face too. That's the point. It's a very gross thing, but that's
very
basically
original Grimm Brothers.
Well, it's
graphic.
That's how they used to describe the cuts in media. So that's why I hear it a lot.
All right. Fair
Anyway,
enough. Anyway,
the point here is that I don't know. Okay, fine. The book's out on you, but you're still now you've hamstrung your team.
Right. This is the thing. Like, you want your team to succeed, don't you? But is that 7th rounder really going to be? That's going to be the thing that fixes the rebuild. I know, Adam. I'm not saying I agree with it.
And the thing is, trade to trade. If that's the book out on you, just wait them out. Trade to trade, everything's different. If Mike Green is a stellar all-star defenseman, then it's still a 1st round plus. But he's not anymore. So it doesn't really matter that okay, fine, I sold a little lower than I wanted to on Mike Green. Welcome to trading, man. That's just the way it is. And if Mike Green is a stud A-plus defenseman next year, which I don't think he will be, but he was in the past, then he's worth the Ryan McDonagh package.
Mike Green was good in 2009.
Yeah, didn't he have 30 goals or something?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
But that was so long ago. It was nearly 10 years ago.
Yes.
You should be getting what you can for Mike Green.
That's the thing. Certain players you don't sell low on. Karlsson. Don't sell low on Karlsson. Mike Green, expiring contract. Yeah, sure, man.
That's absolutely insane. All right, so I'm looking at his stats. 08-09 in 68 games. So he actually missed quite a few games. He scored 31 goals.
As a defenseman.
Yeah, 42 assists, 73 points. The next season, in 75 games, only 19 goals.
Oh, is that all?
76 points, though. That's unbelievable. But it's funny
and then
because...
he fell off a cliff.
Fell off a cliff. He scored 14 goals last year. 36 points.
Oh, okay. No, I'm looking at his games played, and it's 49, 32, 35.
Yeah. Oh, he had some real bad injury troubles. Yeah. But it looks like he's gotten better.
And he scored in the playoffs, too, it looks like.
He's improved. Good player. 2 years ago, for example.
And also, what are his underlying numbers? Like, we're just.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's not. The problem with Mike Green is that he's not a defensive defenseman. Mm-hmm. So. And it's not like the Leafs want a defensive defenseman because you're talking about Adam Larsson at that point, but it's they needed a guy who can play defense, and they didn't get it, and that's okay. I don't think, from a Leafs perspective, that this is the year to go make those deals anyway. I don't know that the team is good enough, strong enough, and I think it's also just a good test to let it go. Go, kids, go see what you can do.
So it's interesting you'd say that because I've been kind of wrestling with that. If this team is not good enough or strong enough to go out and make that kind of deal, why'd you get Plekanec?
Well, I think that there is a beauty in keeping the group together and not blowing your futures when you know that you've probably got a better chance next year and the year after. Steve, honestly, they needed a fourth line center. They needed it. And they would have got it last year had they gotten Jordan Wheel, the guy they really wanted.
Who hasn't had the greatest season, by the way. A couple Flyers fans pointed that out to me.
But that was the guy they really, really wanted. And this summer, one of the things that they're going to have to do, because it's been a dark hole vacuum for this team for 2 years now, is fix that position. So they put Putty where they need to fully drywall the whole situation. But that is something you could fix in the offseason, which they did not fix last summer and they need to do.
And their minor league depth is poor.
At center, yes.
At center, yeah.
So,
well, they got Altonen, who would have been fine, but he just got hurt. They got Gauthier, and they got like Adam Brooks, who's playing like fourth line.
Yeah,
which doesn't mean he's bad. It just means he's developing, right? Bracco's on the fourth line too, and he's great.
So I think the point here is there's Steve. How do you not look at this team and go, yeah, we should go out and get them some help? They've got 84 points. Philadelphia is the top of the Metro Division right now with 78. They absolutely deserve the help. Absolutely. Yeah. And what did you give up? A second-round pick and a couple prospects that would never make the team?
Through 64 games, this is the greatest Leafs team of all time.
Yeah, but
literally in the history of the franchise.
No, we should trade JVR.
That's amazing, eh? That's amazing.
That's an incredible stat.
Yeah, I was a little disheartened with how many people were saying we should trade JVR. Look what you would get for JVR. Of course, you would get a lot for JVR, but you're good. But Tampa might be better. Yeah, they might be, but the Stanley Cup is difficult to win.
Listen, if you watch the game last night,
there's never going to be a clear path.
I don't think. I mean, we were missing Matthews. They missed Tyler Johnson for half a period, and Kucherov's out.
Yeah.
So you got
and their two guys.
Yeah, McDonagh and Miller for sure. But I don't think that. I don't think that there's a whole lot.
There's a lot of ands there.
Yes, and. I think they're closer than people give us credit for.
Way closer. Sure.
I think they are closer to Tampa Bay. Not that Tampa Bay is not far and away the best team in the conference, probably in the league. They are. But I don't think the Leafs are that far away. So if you go and you make that big move now, okay, fine. Then you got to go. Then you're putting extra pressure on yourself. To me, it's like, let the 21-year-old Austin Matthews-led Toronto Maple Leafs go and have a test. And I think Nick Kiprio said it perfectly. So if they get to the second round, successful season.
Yeah, I don't think Babcock looks at it that way.
I don't think so either, and I don't think he can. He's not paid to.
You're right.
But you have to look at, this is incremental, man. We're walking up some stairs. Remember, Tampa didn't make the playoffs last year, and they didn't panic. Imagine the Leafs didn't make the playoffs this year. It would be Edmonton. We'd be in Edmonton.
I don't know how much the organization would be panicking, but the fan base would just be beside themselves.
Absolutely.
We'd be beside ourselves.
Now imagine in the middle.
I scream so much more during Leafs games than I ever have. Even in my childhood. The games just mean so much to me now.
And look at Tampa going into last year. Playoffs. All of a sudden, they don't make the playoffs.
Weren't they coming off?
Leaf fans would be apoplectic. Yeah, it would be crazy.
2 years removed from the Stanley Cup final?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And now they're going to go back.
And this team's better.
Yeah.
This version of the Lightning is so much better.
To your point, why do you go get them help? Because they need it. And because what Jesse said, this is the best Leafs team at 65 games ever.
Ever. And yeah, there's shootouts in there, whatever.
So,
but they're one of the best Leafs teams ever.
Absolutely.
Which is crazy.
Points-wise, if they are, they're number one ever, right, Jess?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in terms of wins. Wow. Yeah, they've never had 39 wins at this point.
And they're going to finish the season at least a solid 2 weeks ahead of the Bruins, which I'm very excited for.
That's unbelievable.
It's
65 to 60 in terms of games.
The Leafs' second bye week, they just all go to Cuba or something right before the friggin' playoffs.
They all come back tanned.
How are the Leafs playing the second half of a back-to-back tonight?
I know!
It's becoming a bit. Every time on the show, we're like, has anyone caught up to the Leafs? Still no. It's not going to happen for a while.
Tell me this. How is Ryan Hartman worth a first-round pick?
Wow. That was confusing. That was really confusing.
He scored 19 goals once. And
what's the full deal?
The full deal, I'll bring it up here on.
Ryan Hartman's a 2013 first-round pick. Late first-round pick of the Blackhawks.
Yes. And he had a good season last year. I believe it was last year, yeah. Ryan Hartman at a fifth to the Predators for Victor Edgesell. Don't know who he is.
Sure, yeah.
A 2018 first and a 2018 fourth.
Okay.
That's serious.
Well, Blackhawks fans, you lasted one episode. You're back on the hook. The Penguins have not taken you off the hook. It is still frustrating to see you get everything you want and more. I hate you. How did you get a first round pick?
I fleeced a team in 24 hours.
Oh, no. Oh, and to think you're going to have to wait till June to do it again. Oh, no. Oh, whoa is the Blackhawks. More like Chicago. Whoa.
And they somehow managed to grab a fifth-round pick out of Boston, too, for Tommy Wingels.
Yeah, which is okay. That's fine. By the way, any team who went out and got a late round pick, I'll just say, like, 2 of the Leafs' top 5 prospects right now, like Andreas Janssen, I would say, is one of their best. Garrett Sparks is the best goalie in the minors, so he'd probably be one of their best. Both 7th round picks. Connor Brown, 6th round pick. I mean, you can go around the league and there's endless examples. You never know what that pick turns into. It's kind of up to you. That's the beauty.
So maybe last minute, just trade this guy isn't such a good idea.
Yeah, maybe
because
not.
It could be Garrett Sparks.
You know, it could be.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't Doug McLean it.
Wow.
Hey, did you know that Kyle Bond, who is now in the Leaf system, has gone from Chicago to Montreal to Toronto in less than 6 months?
And grandson of Bobby Bond.
That's true.
But he's not UC Jokinen.
That's right. Yeah, poor guy.
But weird deal.
Hold on, don't.
Yeah,
no, we're not going there yet. Going there yet. But how is Ryan Hartman worth a first, a fourth?
I suppose because not only is he decent, but he's young,
23,
and he's cheap.
Yeah,
as well.
But he's an RFA, so you got to re-sign him.
Boy, a first round pick. I don't know. Do you just hope that someone offer sheets him? I don't know. I mean, you look at the guys who were kind of overpaid for, right? So Hartman, Tatar, McDonagh and JT Miller, they all have term left beyond this season. So, like, yeah, you paid a first, second, and third for Tatar, but it's for more than one season of Tatar. You know what I mean? It's for more than whatever it is, a month of Tatar. Mm-hmm. For Hartman, or a guy like Nemesnikov, all restricted free agents, you're
getting a guy who can play.
You're getting an established NHL player who, because of the CBA, you have all the bargaining chips and can keep around for a very long time. So I suppose that's why the value is so high. I'm still surprised.
That's a lot.
Okay, like Blackhawks fans, you'll know better than me, okay? But what is the chasm of difference between Ryan Hartman and Tommy Wingels? I want to know. Is Hartman a center?
He's a left winger or something, I think. Yeah.
Come on. You could have paid a fifth. But again, you take advantage of the desperate teams. The Preds are going for it.
He's a right winger.
Right winger. Hartman. There's there's 2 kind of slugfests going on right now. The Metro is fairly even. Mm-hmm. The Pacific, you got Vegas and
everybody else
just cooling on the beach. But you get the 3-headed
Vegas,
monster.
87 points. Their next closest competitor, San Jose, was 75.
It's stupid.
That's insane.
It's offensive. That's rude.
Wow.
So you get the 3-headed monster in the Atlantic. Mm-hmm. Or even if you argue it's just Tampa Boston, okay, fine. It's still a hell of a match.
I wouldn't argue that. I think it's 3-headed.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that.
I wouldn't want to play
the Leafs were ahead of Boston like 2 seconds ago.
I know right now.
And they still are? Oh, yeah, because Boston hasn't got a point since. So
it's because Boston hasn't played enough.
Well, of course. But hey, you're not ahead until you're ahead.
Yep.
You got to pay something to get something. But then there's Nashville and Winnipeg. Mm-hmm. I think that's a huge slugfest too. And they both spent a lot at the deadline to get better.
But I would much rather have Stastny than Hartman, to be honest with you, at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if Nashville really needs centers either.
But again, you're probably getting a better player in Stastny, but he's more expensive and gone.
Not necessarily.
Maybe. Well, he'll be more expensive probably regardless.
He might like playing with Patrick Laine. I'm just throwing that out there. On the third line. Jesse, go ahead, buddy.
I have the strength of season schedule for the remainder of this NHL season.
Yeah, so who's this from?
So I got it from the SN Stats department in an email.
Oh, well, hell.
So
yeah. Those guys are so smart.
They are unreal. Incredible. You want to hear the top 5 teams with the Most difficult schedule for the rest of the season.
Most difficult for the rest of the season.
Yes.
Who is it?
New Jersey, 1. Dallas, Montreal, Chicago, Philly. So
that sucks for Philly.
Their opponents are a 588, a 585, 579, 578, and a 573.
So that's just based off of how good their opponents for the rest of the season are. It doesn't account for things like travel or days off.
These are just the opponent's win percentage.
Interesting, because I saw the Leafs out of Tampa and Boston had the easiest, but also the most days off.
Out of Tampa and Boston.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they had the easiest out of the three, and they had the most days off, which I thought was very neat.
Do you know what team is in 31st first place? So they have the easiest schedule for the rest of the season.
It's got to be somebody unfair.
Stupid Pittsburgh.
Vegas.
Oh, maybe.
Adam Wild.
Oh my God!
Are you serious?
The Vegas Golden Knights for the rest of the season have opponents that'll average out at 532. So they have the easiest schedule for the rest of the season.
When am I allowed to join in with the party poopers on Twitter and be bitter about the Vegas Golden Knights?
Don't be bitter. Why be bitter about this? Enjoy this.
I'm starting to get it.
You're getting less cute by the day.
I'm not on.
Is it the Twitter account, guys? Is it the Twitter account?
No. It's because they were a napkin this time last year, and they got to build. They were literally nothing.
He's not wrong.
They were a napkin.
And then they got to build this team with unlimited salary cap space and just pick and choose. And then now they're in first.
And it's not cute anymore.
No.
No.
They're the behemoth.
It's not cute.
They're Goliath.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm not gonna cheer for the underdog who's in first place. Or I'm sorry. Second. Slumming it.
They're making a movie about this. They're making a movie about this.
If they win.
If they keep going, they're making a movie.
They need
about
a
this.
win for the movie to come out.
And there's gonna be like a very brief cameo of a Cantankerous podcast going, but they don't deserve it.
I think they totally deserve it. I'm
the
on
rest
board.
of the
Good for them.
bottom is Calgary, 30th. They're going to face a 537.
Oh, so they're lucky.
Yes. And then 29th is the Leafs.
Yeah,
and
that's
the
good.
8 is the Lightning, 27 Florida, and 26 Canucks.
So the Leafs have an easier time than the Lightning, but the Lightning still have a very easy time.
Yes. Barely.
Although, I mean, again, it doesn't weigh in certain factors. They already don't have Palat. They might be without Johnson, although he returned to the game, and we're still waiting on an update for Kucherov. It's funny. I'm used to just looking at my phone because it's usually right around noon, and we actually do get like a flood of news before we start recording. Yeah. It is 9:15.
I'm going to read to you the most powerful tweet from the trade deadline yesterday.
Interesting. Okay.
Ready? They didn't even use all 280 characters. This is how powerful this tweet was.
They just
powerful tweets are short. They're to the point, not a wasted word, not a wasted syllable, and this one just knocked it out of the park.
Okay.
Vancouver is currently in the bottom 4 for the 3rd consecutive year. They have not acquired a single draft pick other than their own for the next 3 entry drafts.
Who is that, Botchford?
Drag like pull.
Oh.
Home run tweet.
That sucks.
So Scott Wheeler was really going to bat for the Canucks because they got, what was the trade? They got rid of
Tyler Mott.
Yeah, Vanek for Tyler Mott.
And then they got Brendan Leipzig.
Oh, and UC Jokinen.
Yeah, they got UC Jokinen.
I did not understand that.
Leipzig deal is weird, yeah.
They need a warm body in the...
No, I like the Leipzig deal for them. I like it. I mean, it's not much of a deal.
It's funny that Philip Holm... It's weird that they just made that deal. I mean, I think Leipzig's going to get more of a chance to play in Vancouver, but Philip Holm was the guy that was touted above Borgman and Rosen last year.
Was he?
He was the Swedish defenseman that the Leafs lost out on.
Yeah, but that he's 26. And did he crack the NHL this year? Did he crack the Canucks?
One game.
Come on. No, I think the Canucks clearly win that deal. It's just how big of a win is it? I mean, we got to see Leipzig. I was bummed to see him go. Hasn't really panned out in Vegas, but maybe he's got to play a different role.
He wouldn't have made the Leafs. So it's just he wouldn't have made it.
No, but I think he'll get the opportunity in Vancouver. He'll get the opportunity in Vancouver we thought he was going to get in Vegas.
Yeah.
Which is to play a lot. But getting rid of Vanek for Mott and Jokinen, this is confusing. I was surprised they didn't get a pick. But also, what'd you get Jokinen for?
Probably just Columbus wanted them to take 2 contracts or a salary thing.
UFA.
And why didn't you flip him? You couldn't have flipped him? I guess he's been put on waivers too many times.
Yeah. What's the market value on UC Jokinen?
Dude, get a conditional 7.
He couldn't play with the Oilers, man.
There's got to be a conditional 7th out there. And if you get nothing for him, like the condition is he resigns, if you get nothing, all right, well, it still looks better that you even got the conditional pick as well as, Tyler Mott. So Scott Wheeler was really going to bat for the Canucks, saying Tyler Mott is actually not that bad of a prospect. The issue I have with Mott is he's in not that much of a prospect anymore territory. Because he's 22. Saw a lot of people go, well, he's 22. Dude, he's going to be 23 next month. And things move quickly in the NHL. So
that becomes what the hell are you territory.
Right. I mean, I would say Brendan Leipzig is pretty close to what the hell are you territory, or I'd say he's right smack dab in the middle of what the hell are you territory. And both guys might impress with the Canucks for the rest of the season. So never know.
But the fact remains,
they should have got picks.
Erica Branson could have got you a 2nd round pick. And then you could have signed him.
Instead, he got you character, though. So
you could have.
What?
You did. It's true.
Adam,
they could have signed him in the offseason. They could have signed him on July 1st.
No,
Why
they
didn't
got
they do
character,
it?
though.
No.
And mustache.
Do you know how much that costs?
By the way, okay, so you just brought something up. They could have re-signed him on July 1st if they liked him so much. Patrick Maroon going to New Jersey and then going, I'd like to re-sign with Edmonton in the offseason. If you're not someone with the Devils, do you not go, hey, Patrick, maybe shut the hell up?
No, and then he had to backtrack and be like, no, I'm really happy playing here for the rest of the season.
I think he will be a lot happier once he starts playing there.
Yeah.
No, on second thought, no, this is pretty good. I don't know.
He was just being nice.
He just misspoke, and he was just being nice.
Thomas Buchanan said the same thing. Oh, my home is Montreal. My family's staying in Montreal. Like, we know. It's okay.
Oh, a guy who's been there for 40 years likes it?
Weird.
Wow.
It's
45.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I saw people getting all upset about the fact that the Leafs made him shave his goatee, too. And I think people are missing the point with the whole face shaving thing and the short hair thing. It's not, they don't do it so it's a power trip. They do it, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but I don't think I want you to take me seriously on this, and I won't explain this properly.
I am working with it.
There is a prevailing thought, and it's a little bit old school,
okay,
that if you and everybody on the team has to have this uniform, you got to wear a tie, you got to wear a suit, you got to have a nice haircut that you can set your watch to, you got to have no facial hair, that there's a bit of a bond to that.
Well,
and the point,
it's the reverse playoff beard.
Yeah.
You all have to do it.
Yeah.
That's the camaraderie of it.
Yes.
That's the whole thing with the playoff beard. This is the same thing, just the reverse.
Totally. So I don't think they do it because...
We don't have any more batteries.
Yeah, that light's dead. I don't think... I'm glad that you took a moment, though, to check.
I didn't say it.
Right?
For everyone listening. For everyone listening, one of our lights just went out. So
Steve never heard On With the Show before. Wait, should we stop? We might need that light.
I think we should pause to talk about how tired I am.
If you look at it from that perspective, it isn't that bad. It's not like, old man says you must do this and nobody wants to do it. Okay, so they can't have a goatee for the season.
Not even the season.
Yeah, really. Like,
he
big
can't
freaking
have
deal.
it for
82
5
games.
or 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah, him. And then he can grow it back in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. And no one will care. I saw Tyler Tello going, I would love to see them do like a grievance or something with that. Like, you couldn't.
What?
Basically saying, yeah, basically saying, well, no, his point, I understood what he was saying, was like, there's no way they could actually enforce this. Like, they can't make you shave, but, that just seems like a real unnecessary career-shortening move.
Yeah.
to pull off.
Well, and look what the Yankees do. It the exact same thing. They make you cut your hair. They make you shave your face. If you're a New York Yankee, that's your uniform, man.
And I get the impression Lou is not totally unreasonable.
Oh, of course.
Because you know who's had a lot of stubble this season? Like more than just a day stubble? Austin Matthews. You know why he's gotten away with it? He's Austin Matthews. You maybe ride Connor Carrick a little bit. Hey, aren't you trying to make the lineup? Shave your frickin' face, Austin. Hey, looking good.
Fun fact about the Yankees. Last year, the MLB did Players Weekend, so they had all their specialty jerseys. And that was the first time in the history of the franchise that they had names on the backs of the jerseys.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They're like, it's about the front. You get your number on it, but it's about the front. Your name's not going on the jersey.
So is that going to be a regular season thing? Are they going to start wearing names?
No, it was just that special weekend where they had
So they've never had that, eh?
They've never had names on the back of the jersey.
That's interesting.
Aren't there a couple teams?
Yeah. I don't know if there's other teams.
You know why?
Like their home uniforms.
Do you know why they never put the names on the back of jerseys originally?
No.
Couple reasons.
Money, I assume.
One, because they reused them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. And two, because
like minor league T-ball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because like Johnny Bauer will tell stories, or used to tell stories about how he had to give his jersey back at the end of the season.
Sprague McLagan died of dysentery. You're our new left winger.
They also would make you buy a program, so you knew the names of the players.
Oh, right.
So you have 10 cents a program here. Yeah. So then you can name the player who scored.
You guys ever purchased a program at a game?
I used to when I was a kid, and I used to collect them, but now I don't. Yeah, I don't even think they sell them anymore.
You used to.
Okay, my mom used to buy them. They were $5 too. That was a lot back in the day.
You know what I used to get? Sometimes when it came to like games like that, I would maybe ask for a program, and one of my parents, I think they took turns, they'd be like, yeah, that's what you want? I'd get that. Because then they'd say something like, wouldn't you rather have French fries instead? And I'd be like, oh, food, yeah! They were smart. They were smart.
Yeah.
They would be,
it is because they know you're going to take it home and it's just going to waste space.
Yeah, it's going to be in the garbage in a couple weeks, you know?
And I didn't realize I was making a terrible trade. They were going to feed me anyway. I'm their child. I gave away a program.
I might be wrong, but I don't think the Leafs sell programs anymore.
I think they do.
No,
do they?
Yeah. I think they do.
I couldn't tell you where or what they look like, but I'm almost positive they do.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they make enough money.
Well, yeah. If you've got the Maple Leafs app, it tells you pretty much anything a program can.
Yeah.
But it's not something you can hold, Adam.
You're right. True.
You can't hang your app in your bedroom.
So that reminds me, I got to go out and get a DVD after this.
Have you ever been to a baseball game with guys who fill out the lineup cards in their programs?
Taking score?
Yeah.
The old guys? Yeah.
Okay, Jesse, you're a huge baseball guy. Is that stupid?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
Why do that?
It's part of the game. It's part of...
No, it's not.
Like back in the day, it's a part of the activity of going to the ballpark. You fill out the scorecard along with it.
Nerds.
That's nerds. It is, and then you collect them and you have them all there for the season.
Baseball is the ultimate nerd game.
Yeah.
That is... I will actually pull a hashtag watch the games on you. Because you're constantly looking down at your little...
They're the ones who are watching the games more than anybody. They're there taking the score of the game.
But wouldn't you just get like
it's
beer
available
and nacho
later
cheese
online.
on it?
If you really want to look it up, it's available later. But, but it didn't used to be.
Frank, put down the sheet, Frank.
Yeah, but tell that to 1942 Frank.
You're right. Odie.
The average audience at a baseball game.
I
love baseball. But I mean, let's not pretend it's
nets. Iran Madri required reconstructive facial surgery after taking a foul ball to the neck. But those were the days.
Another team that...
Grandpa, that was in the 90s. I know.
Another team that the fan base is very upset is Buffalo. And Evander Kane was sold for a conditional first in 2019 and a conditional fourth in 2020, and Daniel O'Regan.
So what was the condition on the fourth? Because I never found that out.
I don't know.
Okay, the condition on the first was it's not a first.
Oh.
That is essentially it.
Why?
Right? So the condition is if he resigns in San Jose, but San Jose said basically immediately, we're not resigning him. So it's a second round pick. Today I learned Evander Kane has a lower value in the NHL than Ryan Hartman.
That's insane.
Now, add in all the factors that I mentioned previously, but that is surprising because he's been good.
Yeah.
He's been very good.
He's a 20-goal guy every year.
Like 2 guys on the Sabres score, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
So that was pretty surprising.
Well, it was interesting to see Jason Botterill's comments because they...
You having fun, Jason?
Oh, breaking news, guys. Oh, Senators agree to terms with Erik Karlsson on a 7-year contract extension.
No, Adam. Click the link.
It's from the Senators.
Look at the year.
Oh, 2012. You bastard. Sam George, you're a bastard. I was like, wait a second. What?
I got
such
duped.
a bastard.
I got duped yesterday, too. There was a tweet, and again, from the Senators, it was like, we have a trade to announce. And I was just like, whoa, watch. It's going to be like a promotional tweet. Like, I thought it was going to be like, trade in your $5 for 2 RB sandwiches or something like that.
Adam, it's 9:25 a.m. I don't think the day after trade deadline.
Well, I mean, since we're going to talk about it, did you see Pierre Dorian's press conference after the trade deadline?
He was a little hot and bothered, wasn't he?
He's good friends with Erik Karlsson. Did you know that? They're super close.
He said everything. He might as well have been like, I am good friends with Erik Karlsson. You son of a bitch. Do you hear me? I'm Pierre Dorian. You see this necklace? It is my BFF necklace. Erik has the other half. Do you understand?
Why was he so hot and bothered? Why?
Because it's been probably the worst month of his professional life.
Right.
Season.
But whose fault is that?
Oh, not his, but he's still got to deal with it.
Eugene's.
And partly his and not the media's fault.
Yeah, but no, he was addressing rumors. So when he started saying rumors that were really, really stupid, I thought, oh, he's for sure talking about the $350 Uber ride.
That was probably pretty stupid.
Probably fake. But the one he seemed to be alluding to, the more I listened to him talk, was the music story, where he went to talk to the Sens team and they just kept blaring the music and ignoring him. None of those things need to be true in order for the Sens to be a catastrophe. So I don't know why we hammed it up so much. But let me ask you something, because I was wondering this to myself. Is there a situation where Erik Karlsson isn't traded and stays a Sen for the rest of his career?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's that?
Very possible. They start
I think that's mostly
next season kind of hot, and he's still on the team, and they're in a playoff spot come December.
See, I think
they re-signed him.
Here's what's going to happen. They're going to fire the head coach. Head coach is gone. They're going to find a new head coach.
Guy Boucher's probably gone. But I wonder if Karlsson stays there if Melnick's gone. Because he does seem to like it there.
Of course.
Can you imagine if they get Dahlin? Like, I kind of think he'd be dumb to leave, to be honest. But again, this is a player who wants to get paid on a team that cannot pay.
Well, right now they can't pay.
Right now, that is a key difference.
They are an attractive franchise. If that LeBreton Flats deal gets signed, then all of a sudden I think the value of the franchise is up.
There's no reason Ottawa should fail. Well, with the arena where it should be, there's no reason that Ottawa should fail. I've had people tell me like, oh, it's not the biggest metro area and it's not the biggest city and it would still be one of the smaller cities in the NHL. Dude, look at Winnipeg. Ottawa's bigger than Winnipeg. And I think it's got a bigger surrounding area too. Like it's Canada.
The problem is Ottawa, it's the Corral Center is in the middle of nowhere and we know that.
Is that what it's called?
Oh, Canadian Tire Center.
Okay.
It was the Corral Center, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Canadian Tire Arena.
Canadian Tire
Corral Center was an NHL arena. I just forget where.
I think it was in Ottawa. Anyway, it's in Canada. Like
Hartford.
It was at one point in the middle of a farmer's field. They have since built up some hotels around it.
I was in line waiting to get into the parking lot, and I thought I was lost. That's how remote it used to be. It's not that bad anymore. That was like 2011 or 2012.
Yeah.
But it's not ideal.
So does a downtown arena and some good players make Erik Karlsson stay there for the next 7 years?
I think Eugene's selling. Eugene's selling too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great businessman.
He's not
always
enjoying
sell
it.
as low as you possibly can. Always.
Well, if you're a potential buyer, what's worth more to you, Erik Karlsson on the team or off?
Yeah.
If I'm a potential buyer, you don't trade Erik Karlsson.
I think, if let's say they're selling the team, the Sens did everything they should have done. They kept their biggest asset and also offloaded a ton of money. Mm-hmm. And they didn't get rid of Bobby Ryan to do it. So there was a very interesting thing that I just hadn't considered as part of the deadline coverage. Darren Millard was going through all the money or the cap hit that a team taking on Bobby Ryan would have to absorb because he makes like $7 million. And Kyprios very quickly interjected, actually, the cap hit would be $1.8 million or something like that because the plan would be to buy him out, which I hadn't thought of because buyouts are like kind of rare these days, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. And who could afford to do that more than Vegas? They can afford it. It's interesting. But it's easy to point at the Sens and laugh, but they have options left. Mm-hmm. They didn't get a deal they liked. Keeping Karlsson, I think, is actually probably still the best scenario. But there are problems above Karlsson and above Dorian that need to be addressed first. If they're able to sell the team between now and June,
as Erik Engel said,
you shouldn't trade him.
As Erik Engel said, what are you going to do about Eugene Melnyk if you're Gary Bettman? What are you going to do about it? You got to do something about it.
You got to do something. And there's an unsung hero in all this.
Who?
A guy who may have prevented an Erik Karlsson trade yesterday. Brian 5 or 6 on Twitter. Have you ever seen?
Yeah, he follows us. He listens to the show. I didn't know that. That's the best rant ever. Best rant ever.
Bobby goddamn Orr! He lost his mind. No jump cuts needed.
Should we play that? Should we set up the computer and play that? Everybody's seen it, right?
Yeah, everyone's seen it.
Okay.
In the next
follow Brian 5 or 6 on Twitter.
In the next 2 years, in the first 3 rounds, how many picks do the Senators have?
That's a good question.
Well, they don't have their pick next year. Right? In the first 3 rounds, how many picks do they have over the next 2 years?
I'm going to just say 6. They got 1 for each round.
7.
They have 3.
What?
Because they don't have a second-round pick this year. They don't have a third-round pick this year. And then they got Pittsburgh's 3rd next year. They got their own 2nd, and then they're going to lose either their 1st this year or 1st next year. So they have 3 picks in the next 2 years in the first 3 rounds. It's not good.
Wow. By the way, are you telling me you couldn't get a conditional 7th for Johnny Oduya?
Yeah. Couldn't get it.
I don't think you could have because so when the Flyers got him, the Flyers did the Sens a huge solid because did you see how bonus laden his contract was?
No.
They could be on the hook for as much as $1 million in bonuses. Like there's a stupid like games played bonus where if he plays 65 and I think he only has like 11 more games to play. And then they owe him $250,000 for that. And there was another $250,000 bonus, and there was another one and another one. So losing Oduya for nothing is as good as a pick for the Sens. For the Sens, specifically. For most other teams, no, it's kind of dumb. And then I don't think they lost O'Brien. No one claimed O'Brien, and I don't think anyone claimed Burrows either, did they?
No.
So
you got to hope if you're the Sens that by next trade deadline, you're offloading Duchesne for big picks in that draft.
I don't need
because his deal's up after this year or after this coming year.
The NHL is such a silly league that the Sens are going to win the draft lottery. They're going to get frickin' Dahlin. Their defense is going to look better instantly. Maybe Karlsson resigns. Maybe Karlsson does him a huge solid and resigns in the summer. All of a sudden, they're a more attractive free agent destination. They make one good trade, and they're right back there.
No, sorry, man.
Now, they're trying to be optimistic.
They're a little further away from that.
They're trying to be so far away from that. They don't have in their system. What do they have?
Trying to think. Well, they emptied it out a little bit.
Exactly. Who do they have in Belleville?
It's sparse.
And
then even their NHL lineup.
Dahlin is not going to change this. No way. Unless they go on some sort of run with Craig Anderson. But let's not pretend that they're going to be deep or that they've got some big studs coming up. They don't.
I wonder if they I wonder if they give a shot to more of their Belleville prospects just to see what they have. Because I wrote a feature on this guy named Ethan Warwick earlier in the season. He's a former second-round pick, but that was years ago. Signs an AHL tryout with the Belleville Sens. I think he got released. And then they signed him to an actual AHL deal. Joins the team, and he's their top scorer. despite having played far fewer games than everyone else. He was still their top scorer for the longest time, and then he's been a healthy scratch for the last little bit because he's getting the Matt Fratton treatment, where even if he's still, a decent player on the team, he's not an actual prospect. He just signed to an AHL deal. So I don't know what's going on with the Sens prospects there. That is interesting.
Dude,
maybe they are farther away than I thought. What facilitated the Leafs rebuild is they got rid of everybody, but the Marlies were good.
And they'd also been bad. They got rid of everybody and they were bad. So they had drafted Nylander and then they had drafted Marner and then all of a sudden they win the draft lottery. And remember, they had drafted quite well. That 2015-2016 draft was an unbelievable draft for them.
So good.
Second, third, fourth, fifth round, all great picks.
Marner has been absolutely unbelievable.
Exactly.
Recently.
And that's the thing is that you've got, and that Marner, those Marner Nylander years, really, those 2 years set them up. Set them up for what they are now.
In 2014, they got Renat Valiev, who helped get you Thomas McCannis.
Yeah. So I think, you have to, with Ottawa, they must continue to sell. Duchesne's got to go. Hoffman's got to go. Maybe you hang on to Stone. But get the guys in July or at the draft. Get some of these picks back.
Still the most fascinating team out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Whose future right now looks more bleak? The Ottawa Senators or the Montreal Canadiens?
The Arizona Coyotes.
That's the correct answer.
The Senators. The Senators.
Correct answer.
The Canadiens have the money. They have the desire. They have
the money.
Stable ownership. Just that alone.
Stable ownership. Maybe not the brightest, but stable.
I think they have the second most cap space going into July 1st this year, as projected right now.
Well, there you go. We have an answer.
I mean,
you're right. But
Tavares.
They did basically nothing. They got some. They made a few really good spare part deals. It's pretty good that they got something for Joe Morrow, and I think there were a couple other deals I'm trying to think
That seems to be what Bergevin specializes in, is spare part deals.
Yeah, basically. But
and trading big names.
I'm surprised you weren't able to get something big for Pacioretty at this deadline.
They might trade him at the draft.
It sounds like Pacioretty really loves these trade rumors, and I'm sure he's super stoked that he gets to keep getting asked about it.
Yeah.
That's the impression I got, for sure. But the Habs, who are a rebuilding team, didn't really seem to do much of substance.
What could they do? What are they going to sell other than Patch?
There's the constant Galchenyuk rumors, and the guy's still a Hab. He's there. Nah, I was about to say he's their Kadri, but he's such a much worse version of that. He's their Kadri in the sense of, it is a miracle that Kadri's still a Leaf, considering everything. But no, I think Gauch's ride has been a bit bumpier than Naz's.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't think Montreal's future is all that bleak with $20 million in cap space, the ability to spend it, and the fact that they're in the draft lottery, and they still have Carey Price and Shea Weber. This is not. They need a centerman.
Have we talked about the Buchanan deal since it happened on the show?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't remember. Oh yeah, we did.
Sunday.
We did.
I think, and Buchanan will probably go back. So what does it matter? I think they're fine. I just don't think they're going to be great next year unless Carey Price plays out of his mind.
No. The very small note there is with Joe Morrow getting traded, I think Valiev should probably get a shot in their lineup.
Yeah, which is great.
I think he should get a shot. Habs fans, you're going to like him. I mean, he's not going to blow you away, but you'll like him.
There you go.
Yeah. And that's it. All right, well, goodbye.
Well, we got to do the press conference.
I know, I'm joking.
I also had, if I can find it here, what the Stanley Cup winning team did on trade deadline day for the last couple of years. If you want to
let's hear it.
So what did the Penguins do?
Exactly. You just have to give me a moment if you want to fill. Oh, never mind. I got it.
Okay.
What were you going to fill with?
No. This is going to lead to an uncomfortable conversation, and I'm looking forward to it.
What's the uncomfortable conversation?
You'll see.
Okay. So in 2017, Stanley Cup winner, the Penguins, they got Mark Streit, Frank Corrado, and Ron Hainsey a week earlier than the deadline.
That's right.
The Hainsey deal was the big one.
Yeah, that's your big fish.
2016, Penguins. They added Justin Schultz 2 days before the deadline.
For a third-round pick.
They got Carl Hagelin in January.
Good
and
pick.
then on deadline day, they got Dustin Jeffrey, James Melindi, and conditional 7th.
Well, and Hagelin is a decently significant part of that team, but that wasn't a buy at all. If I remember the deal correctly, the Penguins weren't in the greatest position, and they traded David Perron for him. So that was the definition of a hockey trade.
And they got Dan O'Donoghue,
who they wouldn't have won the cup without.
2015, the Blackhawks. They got Andrew Desjardins, and then they added Antoine Vermette 4 days before the deadline.
And that was the big fish, the first round plus for Antoine Vermette.
The Kings in 2014, they got James Livingston, Marion Gaborik, Braden McNabb, and Jonathan Parker.
Did they get Gaborik at the deadline, though?
They did. That was a deadline day ad.
Oh.
Yes.
But it was a long-term deadline day ad, right?
Yes.
Because he was locked up.
Yes. And then the Blackhawks in 2013 got Maxim Suave. Is that Sauve?
Oh, Sauve, I think.
Sauve?
Wasn't he like their
Sauve?
backup?
Sauve.
Oh, is it Sauve?
No, I'm
Sauve.
just saying
Oh,
that sounds
Sauve.
better.
So they got Cabernet Sauvignon.
And they got Hanzus 2 days before deadline. So
They got their old guy.
So, trading at the deadline doesn't really win you a cup if you land the big fish.
So unless the big fish is Antoine Vermette.
Exactly.
Spare parts at the deadline wins you cups, even if you get the big fish, as long as the big fish is a spare part, which Antoine Vermette absolutely was for the Blackhawks. He was their third line center. Which brings me to what Tampa did.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to someone yesterday, and I go, am I wrong for thinking Tampa Bay is not actually that much better after this deal? And they responded very matter-of-factly, yes, you are wrong. But, yeah, it moves everybody down the lineup. But something about the deal makes me go, okay, JT Miller, Vlad Nemestikov,
Interchangeable.
Let's call it a wash. Let's even say Miller is a little bit better to improve marginally there. Good. McDonagh's an improvement for sure. But the way I look at it, okay, and this is a dumb way of looking at it, I know. I don't care. Shut up. Listen to me. So he's what, your second pair left D now or something like that?
Yes.
So
He's behind Hedman on the left side.
So he's going to... How much better is McDonagh than Sergachev? Right? And then how much better is Sergachev than Coburn, who I think might get pushed out of the lineup? Like, I don't know what the lineup is going to be with McDonagh. Basically, what I'm trying to say is McDonagh needs to be X amount better than the guy he's pushing down. So, like, we always look at it as...
Why isn't McDonagh really good, though?
He is really good, but we always look at it as, okay, see how good the Lightning are? They're now Ryan McDonagh better. It doesn't quite work like that. Because there's still the fact that he's replacing an already good player. So they improved. I'm not debating that at all, but I'm a little bit skeptical of exactly how much they improved.
Yeah, because you're going Hedman, McDonagh, Sergachev. So having Sergachev as your third pairing D,
yeah, which is a lot more ideal
over Coburn, is an improvement. Correct.
It is an improvement.
Where's Girardi in all this?
On the right side, second pairing.
Still,
and
he might be bumped down.
Schuster would be your third pairing, right? And Strawman up at the top.
Well, so you're either scratching Schuster or Coburn.
Yeah, do you switch Coburn over to the right side?
I don't know. They're definitely better. Okay, don't give me that look. They're definitely better. And the trade is actually perfect for Tampa because their window is definitively this year and next.
Mm-hmm.
And
then they have to pay Kucherov.
They got to pay Kucherov. McDonough's contract's up. Miller's contract's up. Yeah. But you can't add a player unless it's for a pick. No, not even if it's for a pick. You can't just add a player and be like, we are now Ryan McDonagh better. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense at all?
Well, if you're kicking someone who's already good out of the lineup, I guess I can
Adam,
see what
you
you're
sound like
doing.
you disagree.
No,
I'm wording it just shitty. Just so bad.
I see what you're saying. Is that if Ryan McDonagh was if you're replacing a player that doesn't belong in the lineup and they're just using his filler, I see what you're saying. It's like, well, you're not. They're already pretty good.
If you replace like Roman Polak
with Ryan McDonagh, that's a big improvement.
Cool.
Yeah, I get that. I think in this particular case, as we saw last night, takes one weird play with the ref in the wrong place and you've sprained your ankle and it's a high ankle sprain and you can't play for 2 weeks. And then you have Ryan McDonagh.
Look, they're better. I'm not saying they're not better. And it gives everyone is looking at them like, how do you stop them?
How do you stop them?
You do. It's the NHL. Like, you don't scare me. There's no Golden State Warriors of a couple years ago in the NHL, and there never will be. The Caps looked like that last year. Guess what happened to them? You know, I look at Tampa and they're the favorite to win. They became more of a favorite yesterday, but I see a beatable team. Actually,
that's aggressive.
Golden State Warriors that broke the record, I think, also lost, but whatever.
They lost in the finals to LeBron.
To the greatest player of all time.
Yeah. Unquestionably.
What a shame. This is terrible.
Yeah, so there you go. Okay. Anyway, it's very, very interesting. Let's do the press conference. Go to bed, man.
What do the Leafs do with more now?
Oh, Dominic?
That's from Mune Splash.
Munes. Oh, yes, totally. I ate one of those in Amsterdam, along with the stroopwafel. You have him. Yeah, like I saw a bunch of people being like, oh, maybe you can flip more now. No. Your center depth is poor. And if someone gets hurt, let's say Plekanec gets hurt, you're right back where you started. You're right back where you were a day before the deadline.
Or Matthews gets hurt.
Then you have the lineup that you had last night against Tampa.
That you almost won.
And you won the game before against Boston and outplayed them. What if? Yeah, it's good to have at least one spare guy, man. And then you're not putting, let's assume the Leafs are fully healthy. Then you're not putting Nylander in this position or Marleau in this position. Or, I don't know, maybe you are. Babcock has needed a center and not used more before. But no, what's wrong with center depth? Stop being allergic to it.
Mm-hmm. Especially at the 3-4 position. Like, it's, you're talking about, like, Plekanec is for sure an upgrade. But it doesn't mean Dominic Moore is a bad player or has played poorly, because he hasn't.
Another unlikely to rear its ugly head scenario for the Leafs, especially because they've played so many damn games, is the roster limit was set. So the Leafs had to send guys down to have
qualify them for the playoffs.
Qualify them for the AHL playoffs and meet the roster limit. You only get 4 call-ups, so they sent Kapanen down and Dermott down and then called them both back up immediately, so it was paper transactions. So for the rest of the season, the Leafs can only call up 2 guys.
Well, they've already played most of it. What do they have left? They've got like 14, 15 games?
Tonight is game 66. So hopefully they don't suffer like half a dozen injuries over the next, what do they got left, 16 games?
They don't have emergency call-ups? You can't circumvent that? You can't ice a team?
I was about to say no.
You must be able to do that.
But I'm just picturing Lou chuckling.
Yeah, I think they're okay.
Yeah, I think it's easier with a goalie. You can just go, well, we're screwed. But no, I mean, they still got Martin. They got Moore. They got Levo.
Are you surprised Martin's still a Leaf?
No, I think they're going to move him in the offseason.
Yeah.
They have time. Yeah.
I don't think that anybody could take his money right now, and I think the whole point with the Leafs is they want to move the money.
Yeah.
That's a deal.
There was a market for Ryan Reeves. Like, you can move Matt Martin.
For sure. Absolutely you could.
Yeah. It's a lot of money, but you can move
him. Probably back to the island.
Yeah. He'd be worth retaining on. Not half, but maybe half. I don't know.
That's just a couple years.
Depends what you get.
Jesse.
Second question. Did Delta throw shade at the U.S. Olympic curling team?
I've seen this story. It's the best.
What?
So the U.S. Olympic curling team, after they won gold, they tweeted at Delta, "Our Olympic curling champions are flying home on Monday. Upgrades? ? Hashtag gold medalists." And then they tagged the 2 guys who won. And then Delta replied, "Hi there. Congratulations, gold medal champions. We are honored to be your ride back home. While we don't have any upgrades to offer, we look forward to seeing you on board. Thanks for flying with us." So,
Wow, what an idiot. Whoever ran that account or made that decision.
that was AJ. AJL.
You want
who's
a
running the
stupid
account that
amount. Wait, how do you know that?
He tagged him. He
Oh.
liked it. AJL for Delta.
Really dumb.
I don't know if the community manager makes that kind of financial decision, but dude, you want to get all the free will or all the goodwill in the world for nothing to you? Nothing? Just give it to them. And now you get negative will. Now when was the last time we discussed Delta Airlines on this podcast? Well, guess
Never.
what? There's a first time for everything, and we're talking about them being idiots. Good job.
So
Good
yes
job.
is the answer. They
No, they weren't. Yeah, they were
if-
kind of
if
throwing
this,
shade.
If this was somebody more important, they're like, yes.
If it was Sean Murray. Is it Sean Murray?
Who's Sean Murray?
No,
Sean White.
Sean White. Sean
The
Murray.
snowboarder.
We grew up with a guy named Sean Murray who also had red hair, and we always used to compare him to Sean
Yeah,
White.
we did.
Yeah, anyway, sorry. Could
If this is
If
Lindsey
it's
Vaughn,
if it's Lindsey Vaughn, Sean White, one of those guys,
Yes.
yeah, maybe. Well, I want to read something to you from a Canadian that you guys, I can almost guarantee, have not seen yet. Don't look at this.
Okay.
Sebastian Touton,
Yes.
who won a gold medal for Canada in snowboarding.
Snowboarding.
2 days ago, I won a gold medal for Canada, and today I'm flying in row
I did read
57A
this.
on Air Canada flight. What a great Olympic partner. Downvote, #sarcasm.
and then
See,
did you see
he's
his
not wrong, but that's a
follow-up?
dick thing to say.
What's that?
Did you see his follow-up?
Oh, he did apologize.
Yeah, so he was pleading Erik Karlsson to be like, "No, you guys are great. I love you. I'm so sorry." Because I think someone sent him a note being like, "Hey, Erik Karlsson is one of the biggest Olympic sponsors
yeah.
in this entire country. You can't say that if you want to go to the Olympics again, sir."
Wow, that's really dumb.
Yeah, that was a real dumb tweet.
I need to apologize for my tweet. I could blame the lack of sleep over the last few days or other factors, but it wasn't a good look. I fly Air Canada all the time, and they're an awesome airline. It's also awesome they support Canada and the Olympics. #sorry.
Click his thing. How many followers this guy got?
66,000.
He fucked
What?
up. He fucked up hard.
Yeah, he fucked up.
He fucked up hard. Dude, I've worked with companies at the Olympics. The restrictions they have on things are unbelievable. We did an interview with Alex Bilodeau, who won gold for moguls in Vancouver, and he also won it in Sochi too, I think. And he was a Nike guy, Nike athlete, paid by Nike. We did an interview for Nike. Guess what he wore during the shoot? Hudson Bay. Oh, no. Because he had to.
Oh, yeah?
He would have gotten shit.
Oh, wow.
He would have gotten shit. We would have gotten shit. Everybody would have gotten shit. We did a Nike photo shoot with him, but those photos were not to go anywhere. One guy posted a photo of him on Facebook. Look, I'm with Alex Bilodeau. And Nike saw it and was like, take that shit down right now.
Wow.
Not to be mean,
Yeah.
but because you get in so much trouble. Because Hudson Bay pays an ungodly amount of money. When else do you ever hear about the Hudson Bay Company? When else do you hear about it? They pay an ungodly amount of money for this thing. This is the thing they spend money on. So you got to imagine what an airline pays. Might be more. Mm-hmm. And this snowboarder who nobody heard of 2 weeks ago, except for, I guess, really hardcore snowboard fans, maybe, they're going to be like, actually,
All 30 of them.
he's giving you shit?
I watch the X Games religiously, bro.
Well, it's just you, sir.
I know snowboarders like Mark McMorris and
His brother.
Mark McMorris and his brother, who I just learned existed, who is also the brother of Mark McMorris. You know what I mean? And this guy's giving you shit. This guy's giving you grief.
Yep.
And like the Canadian Winter Olympic program has really improved since Vancouver because they spent a shitload of money on it.
Own the podium hashtag.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But before that, Canada struggled to podium at the Summer and Winter Olympics because we don't fund them that much. Now you get a sponsor, a huge sponsor.
What did we finish third in medals this year?
This year, yeah.
Pretty good. I think it's the highest finish
Not
ever.
bad.
Also, you're in row 57? Isn't that close to the back?
Yeah, that's bad.
No, but it's near the washrooms and the food. Isn't that what you want? Partially?
Steve.
Adam, I only fly
Steve,
coach.
the
I have
food is
no
at the
idea.
front.
Oh, is it?
Food is at the front.
No,
if you're in the back,
sometimes it's at the back.
you get served last. If you're at the back, they walk it to the front of the plane
Oh, I
and it
guess
comes
I'm wrong.
back. No, listen.
You know what it is?
But
It's 'cause
also,
I can
you
see
don't
the
want to
food.
be at the back of the plane. I get it. But also, you're getting a free flight. And by the way, a flight from Seoul, Korea to Toronto costs you $3,500. So you're welcome.
I'm going to give him advice. I don't know if he did this or not. Wear your gold medal. Everywhere. You should have worn it on the plane.
Yeah.
If you were wearing it like in the where you wait to get on the plane, whatever you call that, I bet someone would have been like, look, let's upgrade this guy. Come on, it's pretty cool.
I feel like they should, just for gold medal winners, just give them the first class ride home. Like, come on.
I was walking down the street with the Hamlin brothers in Vancouver, and strangers who were sitting down stood up and gave them a standing ovation. You're telling me this guy with a gold medal just waiting in line at the airport might not have... Come on. I think he was cranky being on a... How long is a flight to South Korea or home from South Korea?
It's gotta
15
be
hours at least?
At least.
Ugh, yeah, no thanks. New
And they don't-
Zealand's like 24 hours.
And they don't fly into Vancouver, which would be the close stop. They fly into Toronto so they can get all the media and stuff. So that's like,
Oh, no, you think?
yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
They bring them all into Toronto.
Yeah.
That's absolutely what they do. That's where the national media is based out of.
Hey, everybody. You're just dying.
And then you take your connecting flight.
Oh, God.
You know who would have upgraded him? Rogers. If Rogers had heard
Rogers
about
Airlines.
that, they would have
Rogers
upgraded him.
Airlines.
That's all I know.
Well,
Great
with
guys,
that,
those
we
Rogers.
we leave you. Rogers Airlines.
Rogers Airlines. I mean, it would probably be a fine product to go with all their other fine products, Jesse.
If you bought a Rogers
So I'm saying,
Airlines
Rusty.
ticket, would you get Game Center Live for free on the plane?
Tim and Sid are the flight attendants. If you just look up in the front.
You don't do it. That's pretty
You know who's at
good.
the front of the plane? You know who's flying it?
If you look up to the front of the plane.
That's amazing.
That's pretty good.
Jeff Blair is definitely doing the announcements over there.
Oh. No, he's the pilot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's doing the pilot announcements.
Yeah, this is your captain speaking. You're going to fly the altitude of, I don't know, you're going to be pretty high. Don't worry. Look, you're safe. I know what I'm doing, okay? All right.
No. He would also mention riding to Para and the Blue Jays doing a right-handed relief pitcher signing, you know? He'd throw that in somewhere.
Co-pilot here is Mike Wilner. Well, Jeff, hopefully you won't need me on this flight. I'll just hang back.
But what about that Vernon Wells deal?
Oh my God.
We're still talking
Gross.
about that, Jeff.
Hey, everyone, it's Jerry Howarth. I retired, so I have a lot of time to just fly planes for Rogers Airlines and things.
I think we're done
a
now.
goose is flying right at us, and there she goes.
Oh my God, you're such a...
Did you just kill a goose as Jerry Howard?
Jerry Howarth killed a goose as Jerry Howarth. I'm so tight. Let me go.
Can we? Yeah, let's go. All right, we're done now. We'll see you Thursday. Bye, everybody.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.